What would happen if you put the lens from one of these little disposable cameras onto a modern mirrorless camera? Well, this is the Gizmon Vivilens, a tiny pancake lens for mirrorless cameras that lets you take retro-style images reminiscent of old toy cameras. Costing less than $60, this lens is affordable and fun, but is it really worth buying? Inside the box you get the lens itself, a metal lens mount adapter, a lens cap and a manual, and that is basically it. It's a small and simple package, but what stands out immediately is how lightweight everything is. This little lens weighs just 46 grams, which feels like next to nothing, making it perfect for travel or street photography where you want to keep things minimal. I have the mount for Sony cameras, but there are other mounts available, like the Canon EOS M and Micro Four Thirds mounts. This is actually compatible with a ton of different cameras, so be sure to check out their website for the full list. Now, the one thing I wish that this came with was a back cover for the lens, because it doesn't come with one, and that means that the glass is exposed. Luckily, I have a few extras laying around, but if you don't, then unfortunately this will be exposed at all times. The lens itself is made entirely of plastic, which does feel a little bit cheap at first, but bear in mind this is under $60. That said, the lens mount is made of metal, and it does help to make you feel a little bit more premium. In my opinion, the build quality is more than enough, especially for the price. So what's it like shooting on the Gizmon Vivilens? Well, first off, this isn't your typical high-resolution sharp lens. On full frame, it's got an ultra-wide 22mm focal length and an aperture of f11, so expect strong vignetting and a soft focus, especially around the edges of your frame, and I guess that's part of the charm. The center of the image can be quite sharp, but this is going to be nothing like a modern lens. So whatever you do, don't try and compare this to a, $500, $1,000 lens you've got. It's not going to come anywhere close. Looking at these test shots, you can see that this lens does a great job of recreating that vintage aesthetic on my full frame camera. At this point in the video, you're probably wondering why not just add a filter or an effect to a photo. That way you get to keep the high quality image, but then still get the same kind of aesthetic. Well, to be honest, you could do that. But I think that this offers a really cheap and fast way of creating those effects without spending tons of time in editing. The only downside to that is that you're not going to have the original image anywhere, you're just going to have whatever comes out of this lens. So if you take a fantastic image, you may regret having taken it on this and not on one of your more expensive lenses. So let's talk about the limitations of this lens, because there are quite a few. With a fixed f11 aperture, you're either going to need to ramp up your ISO or you're going to need really good lighting conditions. And you've already seen how badly this lens vignettes. If you're in a dark situation, that's only going to get worse. That also means this lens is not great for low light. I honestly would not even try to use this in low light unless you've got a camera that's got night vision. And you can also expect color casting and flaring if you're shooting directly into the sun. But in my opinion, all of those problems add to the charm of this lens. So how do you focus with this lens? Well, there's no metal contacts, so there's no autofocus. Instead, what you have is a fixed focus from 1.5 meters to infinity. So everything will be in focus from 1.5 meters and beyond. But what if you want to focus on something closer? Well, luckily you can actually unscrew the lens from the mount, and that enables you to focus on closer objects. But don't unscrew the lens too much, because if you do, it will actually come out from the mount and your sensor will be exposed. And that is not good. Now you might be wondering, why buy this lens when you can just buy one of these disposable cameras that don't cost a lot and you actually get the authentic image from this? Well, because you'll be using this on a mirrorless digital camera, you can do a lot more with it. Long exposures, multiple exposures, whatever you can do inside a mirrorless camera, you can do with this lens. You can really push this lens to create some fun experimental results. And let's not forget about video. If you've got a camera that can shoot video, my A7 IV can shoot 4K. If you're a videographer, this is a great option to create that otherworldly, dreamlike footage. So you've seen the images from this lens. It's not for getting the most high quality pictures, it's just for having a bit of fun and trying something a bit different with your camera. But who is this lens actually for? Well, if you're someone that just likes taking artistic, creative shots, this lens will be a great bit of fun. If you're one of those pixel peeper type photographers that likes the sharpest image quality, this lens is gonna really disappoint you, so definitely avoid it. But for the price, I think this is a lot of fun, and it's not gonna take up any space in your kit bag, let's be honest, so why not give it a try? If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, it really helps out the channel. If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe, hit that alert button as well, and you'll be notified when I upload another video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.